Happy Sunday evening. This is meteorologist Doppler Dale Bader with you with a look at the last week of January 2013. A week full of everything: warmth, cold, rain, snow, severe weather, and yes, even the possibility of some tornadoes. The upper level weather pattern as we head through this evening hours shows a ridge developing up across the central portions of the United States while a trough digs out across the Pacific West Coast. Underneath that ridge, it'll be warm and moist conditions that will be setting up for the next couple of days through the portions of middle week. And then notice that big X marks a spot there near Reno, Nevada. That upper level storm system is really going to intensify and dig southeast and then eastward down into northern Mexico, southern Arizona, New Mexico area, heading out through Texas and then up into the Great Lakes as we head through the week. And that will definitely make a big difference on this week's weather. Here's a look at high temperatures on Monday, according to the NAM model, which is pretty close in my expectations of what will likely happen. It's going to be warm along the Gulf Coast, all the way back into the southern plains, southern Mississippi River Valley. Temperatures in the 70s in most of those locations, 60s otherwise. Even some 80s possible across portions of Texas and Florida. Still chilly, though, up across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, northern Midwest as well. And that warmth, though, will surge further east and northward as you get into Tuesday, with highs making it to 60 degrees as far north, at least, of New York City, if not further north than that, and 70s nearing up across portions of the Mid-Atlantic area as well. It's going to be warm with these temperatures surging out ahead of the storm system, but notice the cold air falling in behind it. By Wednesday, highs only in the sub-teens on Wednesday near the Canadian border there. Lows once again are going to be quite chilly, back down in the minus 20 to minus 40 degree range possible across portions of the Dakotas and Minnesota. And that warmth will be confined predominantly to the southeastern United States and along the Gulf Coast on Wednesday, before even some of that will be getting eroded away as that cold air filters all the way across the northern half almost the entire United States by Thursday afternoon. Let's take a look at the upper level pattern. This is the NAM model. I'll show you a couple different ones because there are some variability across the models with this storm system that makes big complications in the way the forecast could handle out. But notice there, northern northern Mexico, near the New Mexico-Arizona border, there's that upper level storm system. And looking at the European model, one of my favorites for the long range, it picks up almost an identical look as the NAM of the upper levels, having that storm system at the upper levels in and about the projected location as where the NAM had it as well. Now let's look out Tuesday morning's surface pattern. The front dropping out of Minnesota down possibly as far east as Sedalia, Missouri, continuing then back to near Oklahoma City, the northern panhandles of Texas, possibly warm, moist air surging up into the Ohio Valley, lower Mississippi River Valley, maybe even some shower activity possibility with that, with some snow back across the colder areas of Nebraska into Minnesota. At 5,000 feet or 850 millibars, we're looking at the temperatures and the pressure pattern here, and you can see that all that warmth, the oranges, the yellows, the reds, there across most of the eastern United States, as far north as the Canadian border there, and much colder air filtering down across the Intermountain West behind this storm system. Going into, again, Tuesday morning, the upper level pattern here, I want you to take a closer look again at that upper level storm system spitting out of northern Mexico there, as it merges with that cold front and that warm air, moist air out of the southern United States into the Ohio, Mississippi valleys. It's going to start to increase the instabilities of the atmosphere, and by Tuesday morning, the most intense or unstable air will be found across portions of Missouri back into Texas. I don't expect a whole lot of severe weather on Tuesday morning. I expect that to develop more as we head through the day on Tuesday, as this area, though, of instability, which will be developing, will slide off to the east-southeast through the day on Tuesday. Now, by Tuesday afternoon, take a look. This is how the NAM model projects the upper level storm system be moving towards the Big Bend of Texas, cold front to about St. Louis, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Red River Valley, maybe even as far south by this time as Dallas, Texas, back towards Albuquerque, New Mexico. Very warm, unstable, and moist. out across the southeastern United States and as far north as the mid-Atlantic under this picture. Now this is the American long-range model, the GFS. Notice it displaces that upper-level storm system a bit further off to the north and to the east, with the center of this main energy up across the Red River Valley there, along the border of Oklahoma, Texas, or just to the southwest thereof. And where that X I have on the map is, that's about the proximity where the NAM would have it centered. So you can see the variations that are taking place there. By Tuesday afternoon, though, here's that instability. The most unstable air, likely from southern Illinois back into Texas, maybe down around the Austin area. Most intense atmospheric conditions, though, will likely be Boot Heel, Missouri, and in towards portions of northeast Texas, northwest Louisiana by this time. And there will even be the threat of a possibility of some tornadic activity. This is a Tuesday PM tornado threat. The green shaded area indicates the possibility of tornadic activity, but it's very low. I really hone in once I start to see that golden color. You can see it kind of spotted on the map there, Arkansas, Louisiana, even into Texas. I think the best chances of where the worst case scenario of seeing tornadic activity will be is going to be Arkansas in the northeast portions of Texas, northern portions of Louisiana, Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. The Storm Prediction Center has already outlined a very large area for the enhanced threat of severe weather. Anything in that blue and red shaded areas, that is in their enhanced or slight risk area. That includes Champaign, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, Belleville, Illinois, Mount Vernon, Illinois, St. Louis, Cape Girardeau, Springfield, Missouri, down into Paducah, Kentucky, Memphis, Tennessee, just west of Tupelo, Mississippi, Shreveport, Louisiana, Tulsa, Oak City, as well as heading on down towards Dallas, Austin, Texas, Waco. You're all in that area. That red shaded area, though, is an indication of a 30% probability. Now, this is for day 3, and that's pretty significant from the Storm Prediction Center, and I anticipate at least part of that area, if not all of it, being indicated into a moderate risk area by the time tomorrow morning comes out, Monday morning, and they issue their day 2 outlook. And that likely is going to be centered somewhere between Arkansas, northeast Texas, and northwest Louisiana. Again, some of it may get shaved a little bit, but I do think that a moderate risk is likely with this storm system, also having the possibility of seeing some tornadic activity. Let's go out towards Wednesday morning. The GFS here starts to stretch out the upper level energy, with upper level energy really from St. Louis back into northeast Texas. The NAM, on the other hand, it has a very strong upper level system there in northeast Texas, and I've drawn that white line there, and you see it's not straight up and down, more northwest to southeast oriented. This is an indication of what we call negatively tilting in the atmosphere, and when that happens, the storm is actually more prone to wrap up on itself and become more intense, and can lead to a stronger surface low at the surface, as well as the enhanced threat for severe weather. And based on just looking at this, you would definitely anticipate a stronger threat of severe weather, Arkansas, northeast Texas, northern Louisiana, continuing into the mid-south region, western Tennessee, possibly even into portions of western Kentucky, southeast Missouri, and on down towards western Mississippi. There's also a second area of energy that it's picking up on there across the upper Midwest. Looking at the European, it's kind of a compromise to some extent between the two models. It does pick up on 2 areas of energy, but it has the area there in Texas, Oklahoma, a little bit more stretched, and it also has it what we call positively tilted. Notice that that line I drew there goes more southwest northeast instead of northwest southeast. So it's not as intense, at least looking there on Wednesday morning. Looking at the surface, the GFS has a weak surface wave being picked up near Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Other than that, it looks similar to that of the NAM. It would also have the opportunity of seeing some snow on the backside of the system from maybe as far southwest as Springfield, Missouri, on up through Chicago, Milwaukee. The NAM, on the other hand, has a much stronger surface low, again, as a response to that negative tilting of that upper level storm system. Notice the precipitation amounts there. Those brighter colors are enhanced, especially across northeast Arkansas, the mid-south, and into western Kentucky. And it also has the snow possibility stretching as far south now because it crashes that cold air behind that much stronger storm system into northeast Texas, up through much of Arkansas and stretching up towards St. Louis. And through time, it would actually lift that area off to the east-northeast. So southern Illinois, portions of the mid-south could see some snow on the backside of the storm system up into Indiana and Illinois as a result, if this NAM model projection holds true. The European, it has the low pressure system up closer towards Louisville. That shaded white area, that is where I anticipate the precipitation based on the European to be. Where that red line is kind of the freeze area. Behind it, that is where the snow area could take place and then stretch further up off to the north and east as the day progresses on Wednesday. Instability-wise, definitely Alabama, Mississippi, down to the Gulf Coast is where that instability would be based on that storm system projection. And here's the tornado threat. Notice a lot more gold. So I do think as late Tuesday into early Wednesday rolling out of Arkansas, Louisiana, into Mississippi, into portions of the Mid-South, there's going to be scattered areas of tornadic activity. Although in general I expect more of a linear formation of the severe weather, which would be more conducive to damaging winds, the hail with the cold air rushing in behind it, but the possibility of some isolated tornadoes. More significant potential for tornadic activity would be confined along the I-10 corridor of Louisiana near the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, Mobile, Biloxi, continuing over towards Pensacola, maybe as far north as Jackson, Mississippi, over towards Montgomery, Alabama. Looking at the afternoon, late evening projection of the NAM on the upper levels, still 2 levels of energy, but that one really rockets out of northeast Texas and goes all the way up into the central Appalachians. Still negatively tilted. It looks like those 2 systems would try to form into one bigger storm system. Much colder air rushing southward behind it. On the GFS, still stretched out in nature. It also rapidly lifts that storm system off to the north and to the east. And it also picks up now on a secondary piece of energy dropping in behind it. The NAM surface low still well pronounced there in the mid-Atlantic area. Strong storms pushing into Florida at this point, or offshore at the Carolinas. A lot of heavy precipitation left in its wake. Snow showers possibility as well from the Ohio Valley, and maybe even stretching as far south as portions of Tennessee and maybe extreme northern Alabama. But I think for those of you in the Tennessee Valley, you would mainly just see maybe a few flurries on the backside of the system late on the day on Wednesday as a possibility. Here's a look at that 5,000 foot temperatures, or the 850 millibar. Notice how that cold air crashes all the way down to near the Gulf Coast. Very cold air, upper Midwest, upper Mississippi River Valley at this point taking place. And the afternoon instability, notice the instability kind of indicating there Kentucky, Louisville, back towards northern Mississippi. That could be where we could see actually some snow showers or flurries associated as that cold air rushes in. The instability east of Florida is the strong instability that will have pushed offshore. And on Wednesday, yes, the Storm Prediction Center has already issued a large area of enhanced possibility of severe thunderstorms from east-southeast Pennsylvania all the way through the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, the Carolinas, Alabama, Georgia. I would actually extend this down into the panhandle of Florida as well, but that's where they've got it drawn at this time. Lots going on this week. Don't be fooled by the warm air that you'll be seeing over the next couple of days. Things will rapidly change as the week progresses. Keep your eyes to the sky. Keep abreast of the latest conditions. Now's a great time to get weather call. More information available at the blog on that to help keep your family safe going through this event, as well as the impending eventual severe weather season through the spring months. And I will definitely keep you up to date with the latest information as we head through the week on Facebook, Twitter, and the blog. Thanks again for stopping by, and stay safe.